let's go into the installation, EVNG installation on your laptop or desktop. I just want to show you one diagram how our installation is going to be there. We are going to install EVNG on your laptop or desktop, right? Your laptop or desktop, it's already running with one operating system that may Linux I mean Ubuntu operating system, or that may Windows or based operating systems, right? So then how I have in my hardware I have already run some operating system running on that. Then how I'm going to install EVNG and how it is going to work, that and all. I just want to show you in a diagram, and in the diagram I just explain how we are going to install it. Okay, so this is an installation, EVNG installation on your laptop or desktop. Okay, so let's say this first board, right? So this is your hardware. Let's okay, your hardware. Okay, so your that means your laptop or desktop. Okay, I'm having desktop, so I'm writing as a desktop. Okay, and this laptop or desktop, this hardware, inside this hardware I'm running one operating system. In my scenario I'm running Windows 10 operating system. So this is my base operating system which runs under Win 10 base operator. I'm writing as a base OS as well. So that is running with the Windows 10. Okay, and inside that Windows 10, here only we are going to install the EVNG, right? So already this is my hardware which is running with the Windows operating system. Okay, on that Windows operating system only I just want to install EVNG. So already one operating system above, and above running operating system, we can't directly install one more operating system. Actually we are going to install EVNG. So actually that is an Ubuntu operating system only. Above of the Ubuntu operating system only, we are going to install the EVNG, right? So that Ubuntu operating system we cannot install uh, and top of your base operating system directly. You need one virtualization software, or right? So that software here in on above my inside my Windows 10 operating system, I am going to install, which is supporting the virtualization enhancing tool. I am going to install, that is admin VMware workstation. Okay, workstation or player, VMware workstation or player. You can install that. Should be the version should be 15.x or later version. Okay, so 15.x or later version you need to install it. And after install that VMware workstation, okay, VMware installation, VMware workstation, we are going to install that EVNG operating system. That EVNG is nothing. It's basically it's an Ubuntu. It's Ubuntu with EVNG 5.x version. We are going to install this. Okay, so after install EVNG operating system or Ubuntu operating system, after that only we are going to upload the image files. We are going to, in this tool only we can able to do our hands on. Okay, we can do our hands on by the help of this tool. We are going to, after install this tool, we can upload the image files, other image files like router and firewall. Let's say this is a firewall, assume. Okay, switch, router, and then server machine, Windows client machines, right? And you can draw the topologies, and you can connect your topologies, and you can do your hands on. Okay, so for that, these whatever the devices you are going to do hands on that devices, operating system files, or we call it as a image files. Okay, that image we are using QEMU type of image files. Okay, that QEMU type of image files you need to install on the top of or inside your EVNG operating system. Then only you can do your hands on, guys. Okay, so these are all the process we are going to do on your EVNG installation lab. So in this event installation, it's going to be a two part. This lab installation is going to be a two part. First part, evng operating system or evng tool installation on your laptop or desktop. And after completion of your evng installation, we are going to see how to upload this Cisco router switches and firewall image files into your EVNG, and how to do hands-on by the help of that tool, how to operate that tool. Everything we'll see in your second part. Okay, so today's part is installation only. Okay, so the first part is installation only. So we'll complete up to these steps. Okay, then the second part we'll see how to upload the image files and how to do hands-on this by the help of these tools. Okay, I mean how to upload the images and how to access that images and how to do hands-on with that images, the particular product tools. Okay, so that we'll see. So let's go. This is how we are going to do our installation, guys. Okay, let's go the installation. So in my this is my desktop. In my desktop, I already running with one base operating system. I have one hardware, so which is having I i9 processor. Sorry, i7 processor with eight eight core eight core, right? And then 32 GB RAM in my hardware I have, and then 2 TB hard disk I have. So this is my base sorry, this is my hardware. I have it, and above that hardware I am running on Windows operating system. So that is also completed. You guys also having it normally. Okay, and third option, what we have to do? The third step. This is your first step. First step, your hardware. Okay, and you need to meet a minimum requirement hardware. So my hardware is made. uh, I have more than minimum recommended hardware, so I can install evng on my hardware. Okay, and then Windows 10. Sorry, above that hardware I am running on base operating system, that is Windows 10. Okay, that and I am going to install evng. My plan is even installing the evng tool on my laptop or desktop. Okay, so third option, I need to install this VMware workstation or either VMware player, and it should support the version should be 15.x or later, so 16.x or 17.x, anything it may. Okay, so I have already that VMware workstation you have to download and install in your base machine. I'll give you the links to download the necessary software tools to install EVNG on your laptop or desktop, guys. Link I'll give you in the description. Okay, you can download it. So already in my machine, already I have downloaded and I have installed that VMware workstation. Okay, so this is your VMware workstation, and go to help and just check out the about the VMware workstation. You can see that 16. Okay, 16 Pro I have, 16.2.3 version I am having. So it's not minimal than 15.x. I mean 14.x, 13.x, not like that. It's higher than the version which is recommended from the EVNG side. Okay, so 16.x, so it will support the EVNG installation. Okay, so fine. That third tool also I have installed. Third step also it is completed. You guys, if you don't have a VMware workstation, you can download from the link which I'm given into the description. Okay, so you can download it. After download that VMware workstation, you can install it on your base operating system. Okay. If you are after your installation completion, you are completed the third step of that VMware extension installation. Okay, and fourth step, we have to install EVNG operating system. Fourth and final step. This is your final stage of installing EVNG. Okay, so fourth step, you need to do it, guys. So once if you are install VMware workstation, and when you try to open this tool, it will be look like this. Okay, so you are not going to have anything right now. It's in a fresh tool. I'm not having anything. So you are not having anything installed, EVNG or any other tools. You're not installing it. So it will be look like this. So now we are going to do the final step, fourth step installation, right? So fourth step, we you need to open this application, and after that we are going to create one virtual machine for EVNG. Okay, so in that virtual machine we are going to allocate the hardware requirements, just like storage, and then where is your EVNG operating system. Okay, I mean it's nothing, Ubuntu operating system, and then what is the how much of RAM you're going to allocate that virtual machine, and then how much of hard disk you're going to allocate that virtual machine, right? So how much of processor core, how many cores processors you're going to allocate, that processor. Okay. These steps we are going to define while creating the virtual machine. Okay, so the first step, we need to allocate the hardware to create the virtual machine. After that, you have to install this operating system above on the hardware allocated slot. Okay, so first go with the virtualization to create a virtual machine. So the go to this option. When you're using a ISO file, you have to choose this option. When you're using a open OVA file, then you have to go with the open virtual machine option. Okay, so we are using ISO file type. So go to create new, because when you're using OAVF file, it's already pre-configured virtual machine, so you no need to define your hardware resource and all those stuffs, because already it's pre-configured, and operating system also pre-installed on that virtual machine. So you no need to go anything. You can directly open that operating system and you can start to utilize it. But here in ISO file, you need to allocate all the hardware resources, and you need to select where your operating system, you need to install that operating system into the virtual machine, right? Everything you have to do it yourself. And go to create new virtual machine. We are going to install that EVNG on this virtual machine. Okay, and use recommended mode, typical. Okay, and go to next, and then you can see that install your operating system with any drive. You can choose your installer of disk, I mean CD drive. If you have operating system in your CD drive, and you can choose that CD drive on this option. Or you can, since this is in a virtual machine, it's not able to do, in my hard drive I'm not having any CD drive, so that's I'm not able to choose this installer disk things. Okay. in in your scenario, it may show you these options. Okay, and or else I'm not having my operating system in my CD drive. Okay, and I have as a ISO file. So you want to use that ISO file to install it. So install operating system on this installation, VMware. Okay, sorry, on this virtual machine. So first of all, still we are not allocate the hardware resources. So first step, you can just make it I will install operating system later option. First we need to define the hardware, we need to allocate the hardware resources to this virtual machine, then we will install that operating system. Okay, so use this last option, I will install the operating system later. and go next. And what kind of operating system in later you're going to install, the type of operating system, so Windows based operating system or VMware EXSI, which is a virtualization operating system, or Linux based operating system, or other operating system. Okay, other type. So we are going to install Ubuntu. Ubuntu is the Ubuntu. Inside the Ubuntu only we are going to install the EVNG tool, right? So for UNG mother operating system is Ubuntu operating system only. So that Ubuntu is basically Linux type of operating system, and choose Linux and the version whatever you are going to install. I am going to install Ubuntu and make it Ubuntu 64-bit operating system. Okay, so 64-bit, choose it and go next. And this is your VMware workstation is asking us to provide the name for your virtual machine which you are creating, and where you want to store that virtual machine, which location you want to store that virtual machine. That is also it is asking us to provide. Okay, by default we given as a Ubuntu family or Linux or family operating system, and we given as a Ubuntu 64-bit, so that it's automatically given that name. So it is suggesting that name. If you want to customize, you can customize. So however, I'm going to give this virtual machine, I'm going to install EVNG only. So I name it as a EVNG. That's it. Okay. And where you want to install this virtual machine. Okay. So this is the location. I just want to change that location to install instead of C drive. C drive I have less storage only. You can see that space 68 GB only space I have it. So I'm planning to install it and my EVNG on my drive, which G drive G. I just want to install it. Sorry, I just want to install it on drive D. Okay, okay. E has lot of space, so I want to install my EVNG on drive E. Here under drive E, I'm going to make new folder, virtual machine. So I want to customize the installation. Okay, installation location. So if you want, you can do it, or else you can select your by default location whatever it is selected in your in your tool. Okay, virtual machines. So in I would just want to install on inside this tool, inside this drive. Okay, click OK and go next. And it is asking us to provide the hard disk size of your virtual machine. So your hardware, I just want to increase as a 200 GB, 200 GB storage. I want to allocate to this virtual machine, and how you want to store this. So this virtual machine, this hard disk, split as a virtual disk into multiple file, or store this virtual disk as a single file. So if you are choosing as a multiple file, your hard disks will be splitted as a different entire hard disk will be splitted as a small files, entire different files. Okay, so in it will be stored in that particular location, but I don't want to do that. I want to store my entire virtual machine is a single hard drive. Okay, store single virtual disk file and make it store virtual disk as a single file. Go to next. And now these are all the hardwares we have allocated, right? And in that we are not allocated, we just given a hard disk size and given a operating system name. Okay, and then and all the rest of the thing memory, which means RAM, and then and then your adapter, network adapter, and then processor. These are all the things it's automatically chosen when I use the operating system type is Ubuntu when I choose. Okay, but I need to allocate okay, I need to increase my CPU core, and I need to increase my RAM, right? So minimum recommendation is 6 GB RAM, right? So I just want to increase that RAM size, and then I want to increase the processor cores. I have 8 core processor with 16 threads. Okay, so minimum you should 16 virtual processor I have. So minimum you should provide 2 to 4 virtual processors you need to provide in your E1G operating system, and based on your topology size, you're and based on the number of devices you are going to do hands on, so you need a more hardwares. Okay, so I want to customize that hardware for uh, processor, and then I want to increase that, go to customize hardware option, and then memory I want to, since I have a 32 GB RAM, I just want to increase to 6 GB or 8 GB. I just want to increase as a 8 GB RAM. And then processor, I have totally 8 core processor. Each processor has 2 threads, totally 16 thread I have. So in that, I'm going to allocate 50 percentage of my hardware of CPU process CPU resources to my this E1G a virtual machine. Okay, and so 8 core I'm giving, and make sure I told you, right, it should be enabled your processor and your motherboard so then support the virtualization feature Intel VTX, or if it is an AMD processor, then it should support the AMD V or RVA options features, right? So here just make sure this option is enabled. If your not this option is not enabled, your E1G operating system will be installed, and inside that E1G installation you're going to upload some router switch, right, and then firewall and all, right? So that devices will need to take, if you are want to run this device inside that operating system, these devices also need a hardware, and these devices also need some hardware resources, these devices also need some hardware resources. These hardware resources will be taken from your virtual machine hardware. Okay, so if you want to allocate your virtual machine hardware to run this EVNG install inside the EVNG installed devices like router switches, and you need to enable this option. So this option is called nested virtualization. I'm already installing one operating system by the help of virtualization. Inside the EVNG operating system, I'm going to upload other hardware, other operating system like Cisco VIOS, Palo Alto PAN operating system, and Checkpoint Gaia operating system. Based on the which device, 1440 operating system, based on the device you're going to hands on that operating system need to run for your hands on. If you are on operating system, if you want to run, that is all, that is need some hardware, and that hardware will be allocated from your virtual machine. So this is already, this hardware is taking from my base hardware by the help of VMware workstation. This is a virtualization. Inside that E1G, we are all, again we are uploading other operating systems, and that is also need some hardware resources. Okay, and this is called, that hardware resources also taken taking from your virtual machine, and virtual machine the same hardware is taking from your physical hardware. Okay, so it's take from your physical hardware, virtual machine to EVNG. So it's a virtualization, and inside that virtualization you are doing in one more virtualization. This is called an nested virtualization, guys. To support this nested virtualization, you need to enable this option. If you are not enable this option, your your EVNG operating system will run. But inside that, whatever the tools, whatever the devices you are uploading it, and for your hands-on purpose, that device will not able to get the hardware to run. Okay, so make sure this feature is enabled. Okay, sorry guys. And after that I have allocated my processor, and I enable that virtualization feature in, I'm optimizing my virtualization engine. That is also done. RAM is increased. Okay, and what about other? So here I can choose my hard operating system. Okay, from your physical CD, physical drive. I'm not having any drive, physical drive. So I'm going to use ISO file for my EVNG operating system or EVNG tool installation. So which is nothing here, Ubuntu operating system. Okay, so okay, pre-installed with EVNG. Okay, and after that you have to choose your adapter card as well. Okay, let me first select the OS file, go to drive and then choose ISO image file, browse here, then to downloads here. Okay, so this is my Eve 5 version 5 in operating system. Okay, so inside that we have one Ubuntu operating system with enabled with a TVNG installation. Okay, so first we are installing Ubuntu, and in the internet connectivity we are going to install EVNG. Okay, okay. So while installing Ubuntu itself, it will be EVNG package will be downloaded. Okay, and now open that file tabs and then go to network adapter card. So if you want to access your EVNG, want to access the internet, and inside the EVNG whatever the devices you are going to upload, that devices also need a internet access. You have to choose a network adapter card, either bridged mode or NATed mode. If you are select the bridged mode, your EVNG operating system, this virtual machine which is installing the EVNG, right, with the EVNG, that is going to communicate with your LAN network as well, and it participate as a LAN resources. It's your, it can able to communicate with your LAN network, and it can act like a one of your LAN resources. Okay, so if you want to use this option, and you can select, my suggestion is for without having any interruption in your network, if you need a internet connectivity, then you can go with a bridged mode and select replicate physical network connection state, so that any IP duplicacy will not perform to your virtual machine and your other LAN network device, LAN resources, and other LAN devices also can able to communicate with your virtual machine. Okay, along with that you can able to access the internet via your LAN network. Okay, and if you are selecting the NAT mode, and your LAN devices, LAN resources will not able to communicate with your EVNG, and EVNG also not able to communicate with the LAN resources, but they can able to get an internet connectivity. Okay, okay, in these two option only. So my recommendation, you can go with the bridged mode and replicate connection physical network connection state. Okay, and then this is enough as of now. And adapter mode bridged. Okay, and then processor we have chosen. Okay, and drive we have chosen operating system as well to install it, and RAM increased, everything is fine guys, that's it. Just close and come finish your virtual machine creation, and now you can see EVNG, there is one EVNG, right? So this other virtual machines I have already used. Okay, so my previously I have created this one as, now we just created. You can see that hardware information. So hardware 8 GB RAM I have, 8 core processor I have, 200 GB storage I have, and it's an abridged mode adapter for internet connectivity I have, internet. Okay, and everything is there. My operating system is there. Okay, that's it guys. Okay, now we are just create one virtual machine. We allocated the hardware resources along with RAM, hard storage, and then processor, right? Adapter code, everything is done. So now we are going to start to install EVNG operating system. Just like how we are installing your laptop or desktop normal operating system like Ubuntu base operating system like Ubuntu or Windows by the help of ISO files, the similar things we are going to install it. Okay, so power on that virtual machine to come to head into the operating system installation. Go to the power and on. Okay, and now you can see that it's installer boot menu is there. It is asking us to select the boot menu, what you want to do, install even the community edition. Yes, so it's automatically chosen, and if now it is checking your hardware integrity, everything. Once it is completed, then it will start to install. Okay, can see that Ubuntu is there, Ubuntu 20.ltx. Okay, and now it's similar, we just installing Ubuntu with EVNG packages. Okay, English language, okay, fine, select, and layout English, variant English, US, okay, fine, everything, click. Okay, and now you can see it's automatically chosen one Ethernet adapter, right? So which is your bridged adapter we have created, and that adapter got the IP address from your LAN DHCP server. In my LAN, I have one DHCP server. It's automatically get IP address as of now. And if you want to change the IP address statically, we'll do it later. As of now, make it sure it's got IP address for, because while doing this installation, we need a internet connectivity. So make it just leave it as it is and make sure what is the IP you have assigned. You got the IP address from your DHCP server from your LAN gateway, or that might be wireless router is act like your gateway, right? So IP is assigned from your DHCP server. That's fine, and done, and go with the installation. Okay. And do you want to access the internet with this machine with any proxy by the help of any proxy connectivity? As of now, not make it done. We are not going to use any proxy communication and all with the internet. So just done. Okay. And then and while doing installation, it is going to uh, your the hard disk we given, right? So 200 GB storage, and that hard disk virtual hard disk we have selected, right? So that disk need to be formatted. It's a usual thing when you're installing the operating system, right? So do you want to you continue to install? So when you are continuing your install, that hard disk will be formatted. It's no worries. We are selected the virtual hard disk, and that nothing is having any data. Okay, so just continue that empty virtual disk only um, formatted, and it will start to install your EVNG operating system. Ubuntu, actually it's an Ubuntu operating system, and along with it is installing the EVNG setup files over the internet connectivity. Okay, so now its installation is started. Just view full logs, you can see that. Okay, so ubuntu.com, right, from the internet network. That packages, necessary packages are downloading from that, from the internet. Okay, and once everything is installed, finally in installation dot setup something will be come, and that you can able to see in your installation that entire thing will be done, in installation is done in your workstation, sorry, yes, in your VM virtual machine. Okay, and just close this lock. This is a downloading lock. Okay, so just close the lock, and now you can see that packages are downloading from the internet. Okay, so you need internet connectivity, guys, for this installation, and then uh, disk partitions, everything is done, and after that it will download some files from the internet. Okay, and everything is completed. Your EVNG installation, you can able to access your EVNG. Okay, and for this process you need internet connectivity. Make sure your local machine have internet connectivity. Okay, and this option, this process will take time based on your internet connectivity. Okay, let's see how long it will take to install entire thing. It's totally depends on your internet connectivity, guys. Okay, okay, guys, and our download is completed from the internet, and make sure you guys, right? So let me this eve setup.sh. Okay, that is completed. Okay, make sure you can you can sure make sure your internet download package download is completed when that eve hyphen setup.sh is displayed. Okay, so make sure, and yeah, then you can close your logs. Now you can see that, and after close at logs you can see that, right? So that setup.sh eve evng package is installed in your evng package setup will install in your Ubuntu operating system. Okay, and then now what you have to do, you have to reboot your virtual machine. So go to reboot now. Now you will get this failed error, failed unmounting cd-rom, right? So not an issue. Okay, just leave it and hit enter. Yes, once your virtual machine is rebooted successfully after upload, install all the packages and update from the uh, internet, right? So you'll get a IP address from your DHCP server, right? And everything is fine. Now you have to log in. Okay, username is the root. You have to log in CLI. Okay, you have you can access the EVNG console in two ways, through CLI, through GUI. Okay, so you can directly access the GUI console by using this IP address and using HTTP protocol. And before that, we need to set up some if you want to change the host IP address, as of now it's in a DHCP mode, right? So if you want to change the your EVNG IP assignment mode, or you want to change the credential, right? So that and all you have to you can able to do it in your CLI console. So for that we have to, after successfully installed and got the IP address from your DHCP server very first time, you need to, if you, you can change that, right? So by using CLI console access. Okay, so let's go into the CLI console access. By default username is the root, and password is, for CLI access, username is the root, password Eve, all small letter. This is for CLI access or SSH console access. Okay, and for GUI, username is the admin, password is Eve. All are small letters and case sensitive, guys. Okay. The credential for CLI console is different. Credential for GUI console is different. Make sure. Okay. Make it sure when you're accessing the consoles, respective consoles. Okay. Now I am accessing the GUI console. Sorry, CLI console of my EVNG operating system. Username is the root, and password is Eve by default one. Okay. You can see. Now I'm logged in and logged in into the EVNG. After logging into the EVNG, it's redirect to the EVNG setup completion, right? So here, if you want to change the password, you can just change. You can give your new password here, and likewise you can change. You can do some changes. I mean, you can complete your setup like IP assignment mode from DHCP server to static mode. You can assign another other things. You can, I mean, the host name, as of now host name is evng. So if you want to change the host name, everything you can able to change from here, guys. Okay, so for that, just click here, I want to give some password. So whatever the password you want to change it, you can change it here. So you cannot see that whatever you are typing here, just click in your text box. Now, I mean password, changing the text box. Okay, and now you can type your new password. I'm changing the password to 123 and retype your password. Okay, and now if your password both are same, then you can successfully change the password. If anything is mismatched, you will redirect to change your I mean you will redirect to do the same process again for password changing process. Okay, so now I given a same password, so password is changed, and if you want to change the host name, you can change it. So I just want to give host name as Eve VM. Instead of Eve NG, I just give a Eve VM is the host name and click OK. And in case if you have a DNS domain names server, I mean LDAP server in your environment, if you want to add into the domain this machine into the domain as well, you can add it. As of now, we don't have any DNS domain, so you can, and you no need to give any domain name for your EVNG virtual machine. Okay, so just make it and just make it okay, and then you can see as of now IP assignment mode is in a DHCP mode. If you want to change in a static mode, you can just scroll down, you come and hit enter in your static, and it will ask. Okay, sorry, uh, go back. So okay, if you want to change the IP address, so it's not change that IP address, it's automatically taken a DHCP mode because I just click enter only, but I'm not selecting that from DHCP to static mode. So that's the reason it's it's came to, I mean, it skipped that DHCP IP assignment mode, and it comes to the next setup. Okay, so NTP server. If in case if you have any NTP server in your in your in your environment, if you want, you can provide that NTP server IP address, network time protocol. Okay, so that server, network time server as well, okay, you can provide. As of now, we don't have anything, just skip it. And I want to do reassign the IP address, so I want to skip the setup now, and again I want to do it again one more time. So just click Control C to skip your the basic setup right now, whatever we did, and that is changed. Now I want to reboot your machine. So sorry, either you can reboot to do the same process, or you can become a root user one more time. And now again it's coming to the setup page again, so you can give whatever you want now. So I want to change the password again. E123 is the password. E123 is the password, and it is not showing any error message. So my password are successfully changed. Once if you click entire even setup process is completed, then it will be updated automatically. Okay, and host name I want to make it as a EVM EVM, and then now we don't have any we are not having any DNS name, and we are not going to give a fully qualified domain name for this machine, and we don't have a DNS server as well. Okay, so just leave it, click OK, and you can see that DHCP server IP assignment mode DHCP server is selected, right? I want to change it to the from DHCP server to static mode. Okay, so for that you can see that your cursor is here. If you click OK, even though the DHCP server to static mode, if you want to change, okay, see, it is coming to the next type, but it should be selected when you can hear star is there, then it is considered as a selected. But your actual cursor is here. So what will happen if you click normally, if you click enter, it will consider you are choosing DHCP mode only, and the static mode is not selected, and further it will not prompt to change the IP address. For that, what you have to do, just from up from DHCP server to, you have to move your server, sorry, your cursor into the static. and instead of enter you have to type, to select that static mode you have to click the space bar. Okay, and now you can see that the star is coming to the DHCP mode to static mode. Now you have to click OK. Then what will happen, it will prompt you to change the IP address. To click OK you have to enter the you have to click the enter button. Okay, just enter. You can see just now, good set, and click enter. Now you can see, now it is asking the IP address, right? So I just want to assign the IP address from based on my LAN network I have cell because my EVNG setup, my network adapter card I have chosen as a bridged mode. So I got IP address from my LAN PC. I mean I can able to get the IP address from my LAN DHCP server, and this time I want to make it IP assignment mode as a static mode. So I want to set up the IP address from my LAN network, any IP address from my LAN network. If you look at my LAN connectivity, so you can see that my LAN network. So this is my Wi-Fi network and LAN. If I LAN, it belongs to 192.168.0.0/24 network, and gateway is 192.168.0.1. So I have to assign the IP address from this range. Okay, 192.168.0.0/24 network. So just assign the IP address 192.168.0.100, and then click OK, and it is asking the subnet mask for your network, that is /24 network 255.255.255.0 you have to provide, and click OK. Now it is asking the gateway, so we all know what is the gateway of our net. What is the gateway of our, sorry guys, our LAN network, that is 192.168.0.1. Okay, that's it. Click OK. And do you, if you want to assign the DNS IP address, and I want to assign the DNS global DNS server, so we are going to access the inside the EVNG, we are going to upload the router switches firewalls and all, and that device is also going to access the internet. So to access the internet I'm going to provide my primary DNS as a Google DNS server as my primary DNS server. So just type 8.8.8.8 as my primary DNS server and click OK. And secondary, if you want to provide, you can provide. So I don't want to provide secondary DNS server as of now, just leave it. And then in case if you have any NTP server in your network, you can assign the IP address. We don't have NTP server, just leave it, it's not necessary. Click OK. And how you are going to get the internet connectivity on this EVNG machine, direct as a direct connection or any proxy you are going to use it. Make it direct connection for internet access, so that we can inside the EVNG devices also can able to access the internet. Okay, real internet guys. Okay, so make it direct connection internet as it is, just click OK. And now your entire setup is EVNG setup is completed guys. Now your machine will be rebooted, and you can able to see that IP is assigned, static IP is assigned to your EVNG virtual machine, that whatever the IP we have given, that is will be assigned. See, you can able to see that, right? So 190.168.0.100. So now you can, that's all about the EVNG installation. Now you can access the EVNG console, uh, the quick console, where you can, where you want to draw your topology and where you want to work with your entire um, virtual network topologies, right? So that you can access through GUI, and by using this IP address and by the help of HTTP protocol. So which means you need one browser. From the browser you can access the console, GUI console of your EVNG through one by your management IP of your EVNG virtual machine, whatever you have given, that is 192.168.0.100. So now from my local machine, so you guys also in your local machine, go to one browser. Okay, and just call the IP address 192.168.0.100, which is your EVNG operating system. Okay, and now you can see. Okay, Just a minute. The same thing. Okay, now just assign the IP address. Just call the IP address 192.168.0.100, and you can see I'm using HTTP protocol. Okay, so you for HTTP protocol, you no need to type any protocol. You no need to define protocol. You just type IP. It's automatically check a HTTP protocol only. If you want, you can type your protocol name. Okay, that's it. You can see now I'm logging and now I can able to access the GUI console of my EVNG operating system, and it is asking the credential. So you need to provide the proper, and you can see that community edition of 5.x version operating system EVNG, it's installed here. And if you want to access the GUI console, you need to provide the credential. So previously, as I said, that it has two type of credentials. One is for one different credential for CLI access, different credential for GUI access. The CLI username is the root, password is Eve. Okay, all are small letter. GUI username is admin, password is Eve, all are small letters, guys. Okay, so let's go into the username is admin here, and password is Eve, all are small letter. And the console access, this is for you can access even G uh, GUI tool, or you can access the even G installed devices. This console type. You can take your console type native console and two different type of consoles we can able to access inside the EVNG installed devices. I mean, even inside the EVNG operating system, we are going to install router, switch, firewall, and all, right? So this router, switch, firewall, these devices consoles we need to access to manage that particular devices, right? So that console you can access in a two different way, native way. So I'll tell you in the second part of lab installation, so which means the uploading the image files into the evng. In there I'll show you the difference between native console and html5 console. A html5 console type, there are two type of consoles you can select for inside the evng. Whatever the device you have uploaded, that device if you want to manage that devices management, you can access in a two different consoles. One is native console, another one is html5 console. So in up next session I'll show you the difference between the native console and then html5 console, and why we are using it both. I'll tell you guys. Okay, so as of now, this today's session is it's about the installing the event. Okay, so that's it, and choose any one of the console type, native or HTML5. So about this difference, we will discuss on next session. Okay, HTML5 console I am choosing here. Uh, okay, native console. Just go with the native console and sign in. And now you can see, okay, okay, in your scenario here, it will nothing will be there. Okay, and it will be look you very first time. It will be look like this. Okay, so after login, okay, just a minute. Okay, after login, you will get this page only, guys. Okay, so here you can create your lab topology. So by your lab hands on your lab, you can create here. So you can create by the folder. Let's say I'm going to do CCNA type of lab here. So I'm going to create the folder in the name of lab, the name of CCNA. So whatever the practice I'm going to do under this folder, I'm going to save. So here I'm going to add the topology here and the file lab here. This is the lab name. Okay, so test lab. Okay, I'm going to give and just click OK. This is your workspace, guys. So this is your workspace. Here you can create your lab topology. Here you can draw your topologies, and you can add your devices, whatever the device you have installed, right? So that devices. Okay, as of now, it's a fresh EVNG operating system without uploaded any your devices image files like router, switch, firewall, right? Anything it's not uploaded. It's fresh evng machine. Nothing is uploaded. So uploading the image files and how to work with the evng console, right? So sorry, how to work with the this lab, how to draw topology, how to upload the image files, and how to access the installed other installed devices, router, switches, consoles in a two different way. What is the native console, what is the difference between the native console, and then what is the difference between the HTML5 console. Everything we will see in a next session, guys. Okay, so that's all about the UNG installation. Okay, one pre-installed virtual machine is there in the UNG operating system. So just in a test machine, you can do normal functionalities like I assign the IP address and then execution the test commands like that only. It will not support the GUI and it will not support any other functions. It's in just in a pre-installed virtual machine. Okay, you can see that this is that virtual machine. Okay, so working with this machine and other image files, how to upload image files, all those steps we'll do in our next session, guys. Okay, so